Philipa Bragman set up Change and is the director of the organization.
Hi, thank you very much for inviting me to talk today. I feel very honoured to be here. I am the director of Change, which is a human rights-based organisation based in the UK. We work across the UK and we work internationally. We're an organisation that's controlled by disabled people, and we work inclusively and we employ people who have an intellectual impairment to lead on all of our work. I'm going to talk to you about how Change works and how we produce easy read, accessible information on health literacy, and I'm going to show you some examples. As I said, our model of working is we employ a person with intellectual impairments and a person who doesn't have intellectual impairments on equal salaries, and they work together. And this is our team at Change. We have a team of people with intellectual impairments at Change called the Words to Pictures team. And most of them struggle with literacy, and they are the experts. And they work along with a team of illustrators and designers to produce easy read information. And they also check, so on every illustration that we draw, they guide the illustrators and then they check that the information's in easy read. So they convert information like this from jargon into easy read. And the reason we do that is because we believe that information gives you power, it supports us to make choices, it improves health outcomes, it allows and enables people to consent to treatment, it creates greater equality and plays a role in health promotion and the prevention of ill health. All of the work at Change we do is informed and led by the real life experiences of people with learning disabilities or intellectual impairments. There was a woman with learning disabilities in the UK who had jaw cancer, and the treatment was that she would have an operation and then radiotherapy. And most people in that situation with that type of cancer, I'm not a medical expert by the way, with that type of cancer generally recover. Her family decided that she wasn't able to have the radiotherapy treatment. So without discussing with her, they decided it would be too traumatic for her. So she had the operation and the cancer came back. And at that point, she had a nurse, a cancer nurse who was working with her, who felt that it was really important that the woman with learning disabilities actually made her own decisions. So she worked with her and gave her the right information, and in fact that woman decided that she wanted to have the radiotherapy treatment. But that made us realise at Change how important it is to have easy read, understandable information about cancer and end-of-life care. So we've produced 6 books around cancer and end-of-life care, which recently we won the British Medical Association Patient Information of the Year Award. And how we work is that we employed a person who has an intellectual impairment with a person who doesn't, and they worked across the UK with cancer specialists and also with other people with an intellectual impairment who had experienced having cancer, and to produce the information. And you can see how the writing is really straightforward, and the images, each one which is drawn in collaboration with people with intellectual impairments and checked by them, matches what each of the writing says. We generally use black and white images because many people with an intellectual impairment say that they prefer that, especially if they have a visual impairment. But we use colour sometimes to highlight something. For example, if you were making some information in easy read about potty training, you might have colour on the potty because you want the people that are reading the information to get information that it's about potty training. We produce loads of easy read information around health. And we believe that it gives people with intellectual impairments more choice and support about their rights so that they can make informed consent to treatment. And here's an example of a healthy living plan that we've done. Because one of the things that we do is we provide templates so that organisations can use the templates we produce that are in easy read or templates of letters and then adapt them for their own client group. And then people with intellectual impairments at Change train health professionals how they can adapt those templates. We got government funding in the UK to produce 3 easy-read health booklets for women with learning disabilities or intellectual impairments. So we employed a woman with learning disabilities who did some work and research amongst the community of other women who had intellectual impairments to find out what the most important things they wanted the books were. And they said they wanted one book in easy read on Depo-Provera, the contraceptive injection, because many women with intellectual impairments in the UK are given the Depo-Provera contraceptive injection, and they don't have accessible easy read information about it, so they don't know what the injection is, but they don't know what it's for, why they're being given it, and what the side effects are. So that we made easy read information on that. They said they wanted easy read information on depression, which we did. And then they said they wanted easy read information on how you get pregnant, like the actual technicalities of how you get pregnant. So we did those 3 booklets, and then people with learning disabilities were saying to us, well, that's all well and good, but when we get pregnant and have children, there's no easy read information. And in the UK, many parents with intellectual disabilities who have children have their children taken away from them unfairly, and they're not given easy read information. So we decided to produce 3 easy read books. One is on pregnancy and childbirth, and we've recently got UNICEF accreditation for the book that we've produced on breastfeeding. And this book is produced by parents who have an intellectual impairment, who work across the UK, working with child midwives and health visitors. And you can see again that the language is really straightforward, and each image is individually drawn so that it matches what the language is saying. We've produced one book on pregnancy. We've produced one book, oh, how'd you go back? Sorry. We've produced one book on pregnancy, and then the parent said, back. That's it, thank you. We produced one book on pregnancy, and then the parents said that they wanted to have a detailed book about the first year of their baby's life. So they said that was really complicated. And this book's UNICEF accredited. So we produced one book on the 0 to 1, which is the first year of the baby's life. And then we've produced another book, which is 1 to 5, which is this book, which is for parents who've got children aged 1 to 5. And what we found in the UK is that these books are used by a much wider group than just parents who have an intellectual impairment. So they're used by people who struggle with literacy, people whose first language might not be English. And what we're aware of is that it's the first time that people with intellectual impairments are producing information and providing a service to people that are a much wider community than just people with intellectual impairments. And we feel that that's important as well, because that also changes attitudes. So you can see that in the book about parenting for parents who've got young children 1 to 5, each of the images matches the text. These books as well have been evaluated in Scotland, and as a result of the evaluation by health professionals and by parents who have a learning disability, in Scotland, every single parent who has a learning disability has our books. And our ideal would be that we can make these books so that they're relevant globally in terms of the languages and being culturally relevant, so that every parent who struggles with literacy could potentially have their own guide and information around accessible information. And finally, I would just like to say that these are some of the things that we produce at Change. We believe that this type of information supports the empowerment and access to good health information so that people who have a learning disability can make informed choices about their health care and be supported to be assertive when they aren't feeling well. And we really want to work with different countries and different organisations to translate some of this information and make it relevant. And our website is, I can give you, and we've also got outside some examples of some of the books that we've made into easy read, so we'd love to show you. Thank you.